Alright, so I'm going. Yeah, she's not in this game, so I'm gonna have Requine help with shoutcasting. She did some last week, and you guys didn't seem to mind too much, so I'll invite her again. Oh, yeah, you're talking through my monitor. 1 second. I was like, what the hell? Oh god, that's so distracting. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, try talking now. No, I cannot hear you. 1 second. Okay, I fixed it now. Yeah, talk to my monitor. 1 second. Okay, so everyone let me know if there's an audio balancing issues. We should
Test,
be
test,
similar
one, two,
levels.
three.
Okay.
Test, one, two, three.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes. We are going to turn on the giveaway now, guys. This is for a $10 RP card. We're going to leave entry open for most likely 1 hour. Okay, I lowered Requine so that you can't hear her. Workshop is now open. Keyword is... sorry, giveaway is now open. The keyword is workshop. Alright, so we're almost done picks and bans. Once picks and bans are finished, we will go over team comps, general suggestions on how to play those champions, and then we'll go there. You are able to hear me, correct? Oh, never mind. It would help if I had it set to actually use my mic to send sound to you.
There we go. It's those technical skills that put you in the same bracket as Saint Vicious, clearly.
It's true.
You are cutting in and out a little on Skype.
This guy's just bullshit. I don't know why it does this. Oh god, now I'm hearing myself through your speakers. Okay, so as... oh, could you, like, turn down your speakers or something? All I can hear is myself talking back through them. It says right in the stream title, the keyword is workshop. Alright, I'm closing the call then, because she hasn't turned down her speakers. So, picks and bans. We have Cassidon, Evelyn, Nasus ban. Yeah, I just turned it off for now. We'll get her back on for the game itself. On the other side, we have an Amumu, Vi, Fizz. All pretty solid bans. Evelyn is still very, very high ban rate. Since her nerfs, I don't think there's any reason to. It was TeamSpeak she uses, is it not? So many issues. Okay. Um, 1 second, guys. I will go over picks and bans. Worst case scenario, we'll have to do them while this is being set up. I have to change my settings, though.
Okay, test 1, 2, 3.
Testing. No.
Turning down my outbound a little bit. Any problems?
No, that's fine. Okay, could you go over picks and bans?
Okay, going to take this opportunity to go over picks and bans. We have Cassidy, Eve, and Nasus being banned on one side. Pretty standard bans. Cassidy is terror in mid, especially with lower ranked players. Evelyn did get some nerfs in the most recent patch, but she still does have problems where she just ignores wards. And that means you have to invest in pinks, you have to invest in the sweeper trinket instead. That's obviously problematic. And then we have Nasus. Nasus is still pretty strong. He hasn't really been hit with nerfs. He just stomps all over top lane, and so that's a pretty smart band. On the other side, we have a Mumu, Vi, and Fizz. So again, these are pretty standard bans. Vi is probably one of the strongest junglers in the game right now, and she just basically deletes an ADC from a team fight. Same with Fizz, he's an assassin. We've seen Fizz clean up in workshops before, so that's a pretty standard and smart ban. And then a Mumu. A Mumu isn't necessarily an overpowered champion, but he does require a team to play differently and to work around him. So that's a ban that isn't mandatory by any means, but it definitely does speak to a certain team comp and strategy. We have a Yasuo on blue team, which I'm very excited to see. Yasuo, Singed, Caitlyn, Diana, and Thresh. So we have a bunch of really cool champions, a lot of champions that we don't necessarily see in workshops. We have Diana going jungle, she is not the strongest jungler in the world, but she's one of the few AP junglers, and once she hits 6, she can actually pull out some decent ganks. Kate and Thresh are in the bottom lane. That's a pretty safe lane. Thresh can kind of do whatever is necessary to either disengage or be aggressive, so we'll see how that works out. Singed is probably just going to farm top lane and won't have an impact for the first little while of a game, but we'll see whether he turns into a monster late. And Yasuo is a really unknown factor because of the champion's skill levels, so we're going to see how this Yasuo turns out.
Are you able to hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I just need to turn off the sounds here. Bum, bum, bum.
Just going to adjust my sound one more. Okay guys, I significantly adjusted my sound. Please let me know how that is. I apologize. We were having problems with Skype and Ventrilo, so that's, problematic. Hopefully this volume is better. On the other team, we have Teemo, which is pretty expected after the LCS pick. 100% win rate, totally pro. Shen is going top. We have Leona Twitch bottom lane and Lee Sin in the jungle. This is a very early on. There's a lot of sheer power on this team. Late game, just in terms of killing potential, they fall off. But with Teemo's map control, Shen's ability to split, push, and change, and Leona's lockdown potential, as well as Twitch's just range from spray and pay, we'll see a lot of. We'll see whether they have the skill to really adjust to late game plays.
Okay, I was also just going to comment that Yasuo has opted to go for some crit chance runes. It's sort of a gamble. It will oftentimes pay off, but it is definitely something that you might not see normally. Also, Teemo's going mid and is running some rather odd runes. He's not running very much magic resist. So I'm assuming he's trying to land really strong early aggression onto the Yasuo and try and poke him out as quickly and easily as possible. Shen is running a little bit of crit chance, just some mixed runes, so we'll be interested to see how that works out for him. And Leona is running exactly what Leona's run right now with full armor, magic resist, flat health, just absolute beefy in lane. Twitch running some move speed and a lot of armor, so I'm not sure if he doesn't own like a full rune page or what, because it's full move speed quints, full armor, and then some AD. And Lee Sin, pretty standard. It's like an AD carry page, so nothing too crazy there.
Yasuo versus Teemo is going to be a very interesting lane. With the right timing, Yasuo's wind wall can redirect a whole lot of Teemo harass. That's a 20-second cooldown compared to Teemo's combo cooldown. 1 second, just banning a spammer.
Can you still hear me, Requine?
Yasuo also has his Q was significantly cleaned up in this patch. I've been playing him a lot, and I can tell you he is capable of dealing a lot of damage in a small window. Once they both hit 6, it's just going to be a question of whether Yasuo can get the knock-up and get to Teemo. With enough shrooms and blinds at the right time, Teemo might be able to just push Yasuo around.
Yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan of Teemo right now. I was before. I actually mentioned right as preseason was starting. I was mentioning some of the builds that you can do with him, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm really happy to see him start to get some more competitive play.
Yasuo did make an appearance in LCS yesterday, and it was very underwhelming. There is a stereotype that NA players just don't have the skills necessary at this point to pull out, amazing top-tier Yasuo combos. But I think that anyone who has been playing him since he came out, even at lower rankings, is capable of destroying right now.
For me, it's all about the shroom farm. Just set up them shroom farms, make them chase you.
Right, one of the biggest things with Teemo right now is if you stand and fight, he can blind you, he can pump you full of poison, he can skitter away. If you try and run, you stand a really good chance of going through a shroom farm.
I want to comment on the starting pickup on Thresh. I've been mentioning in previous workshops that I dislike gold pretend starts, and I have adjusted to the quote-unquote meta now, and I'm doing Doran's Shield on any sort of early aggressive support. He's opted not to do that, so he's only going to have one potion, he's only going to have one ward, and then he's got like very little bit of passive generation. On someone who wants those early aggression, like the level 2 engages like Thresh generally does, Adoran's Shield just makes your lane so much more secure.
Thresh is also a little squishier than he used to be. A few patches ago, they did nerf his early stats, making acquiring souls much more important. So if the sheer zoning power of Leona and Thresh can the Leona and Twitch can keep Thresh away from souls, he could be in a little bit of trouble.
Also, I want to comment that Lee Sin didn't quite time when blue is going to spawn properly, so he threw a Q at it, it wasn't spawned yet, so he had to walk around the entire thing. Looks like we do have a disconnect. Hopefully they will be coming back right away. Yeah, good, we have a pause. That's one of the nice things about it being a tournament draft. If someone does disconnect, you can pause.
We do have a disconnect on bottom lane. Thresh hopefully will be back shortly.
Is there a way in Vent to make it just always on? Because it doesn't detect my mic, unless I use push to talk.
Hit settings, and then there should be enable push to talk mode auto-clicked. So if you turn that off, you can give that a shot.
Yeah, like I have push to talk disabled now. You can't hear me, can you? Yeah, she can't hear me. Yeah, that's what I was saying. If I disable push to talk, it just doesn't capture anything at all. Okay, so he is back now. Game is restarted. Everything's going to be pretty even at this point. We're just going to keep an eye on how things go. Looks like Singed is taking a lot of harass top lane. I'm interested to see because he is running a very aggressive rune page. He's got 22 starting AP, and he's opted to go for like a fairy charm. Usually we'd expect to see... Yeah, like he's not poisoning him.
Singed is an interesting champion because you have to keep your boot on his throat all game long. I've seen Singes get bullied, lose their tower early, and then at 50 minutes come screaming out of the jungle and be completely unstoppable.
Yeah, my concern right now is just how he's playing Singed. He's walking up and auto-attacking him and not getting poison onto him. He just flung him into a bush and also, again, didn't activate poison. Those ticks are essentially half your DPS. Have a Leona engage bot lane coming in, level 2 onto Caitlyn. Not enough damage coming out. Looks like Thresh didn't actually disengage fully, but they just didn't have good enough synergy between Twitch and Leona to get enough damage on to be all that meaningful.
Lee Sin makes an appearance mid, doesn't get a kill, but as mentioned before, it's always important for the jungler to show their face occasionally.
As Teemo, I'd be trying to land a quick auto attack onto Yasuo to get his... Yes, he used Blind instead to try and get his shield down. You want to constantly have poison burning so that the second his shield comes back up, it's already popped. And that way, anytime he tries to trade with you, your damage is going to actually mean something.
There we can see Yasuo's like high burst potential. He slides forward, jumps onto Teemo, drops a Q on him, and then is able to get out pretty easily. And Teemo doesn't have much of an answer for that harass.
He's actually playing Teemo incorrectly. He's gone 2 points into Poison, and he's gone 2 points into Blinding Dart. You actually don't level Blinding Dart on Teemo. You max your E, then you max your W. You only put 1 point in Blinding Dart, because the increased duration doesn't mean that much, because you're going to run out of mana. He needs that move speed so that he can constantly kite back away, and you need to be landing auto attacks. Instead, he's trying to poison every single time the cooldown comes up, and Blinding Dart just doesn't do much damage. Unless you're like full glass cannon AP build late game, it's not going to be meaningful. You need to get your burn on them and just keep that shield lowered. And then you need the W so that you're not going to be caught out of place.
I think a problem, we see Singe dropping some ticks on Chen this time, getting his combo a little better. I think part of the problem with Teemo is simply that the straight up damage from Blinding Dart, if you're not 100% sure of the character, it does seem to be a lot stronger and better than the sustained damage from tick. It's kind of a psychological trap that people fall into. They go for the upfront over the long-term increased damage.
Exactly, and every single time Yasuo goes for a CS, he should be landing
Thresh pulls Twitch into the tower, gets a couple of shots on him. There's some skirmishing on bot, doesn't seem like a kill is going to come of it yet.
Either way, this is a lot of harass. They actually got Twitch's flash. They should be able to use this to just freeze the lane now and not let them come back and farm. They should be able to turn this into a significant level advantage and a significant CS advantage if they freeze lane properly and just bully them out anytime they try and go for farm.
Right, Caitlyn's a really problematic champion right now in bot lane. Not necessarily overpowered. Oh, Thresh is dropping a flay. Caitlyn's auto-attacking, gets a headshot off. Even though they're not getting a kill, they're getting a huge advantage. Yasuo gets first blood in mid, gets the whirlwind ult combo off. Very well played.
When versus a Yasuo, you really do have to bully him out before level 6. Once he's hit level 6, if he lands that combo, it's so dangerous for you. Also, I want to point out that Lee Sin did come bot lane, and no one really did anything with it. Lee Sin just kicked to a minion. Yeah, they have the Lantern Gank, but Diana is standing on a ward there, so it's not really going to turn into anything. I think they're just going to try and push this lane in a little bit. Lee Sin is playing smart and staying around in case a fight does get started, so that he can disengage wave clear if he needs to, and just generally stop them from diving their team.
See, they're going in, they're diving. Lee Sin is able to go in. He was smart. He didn't have to show his face there because Lee Sin is such a mobile champ. If he had just been running around the tower, they wouldn't have dived. But he stayed hidden, and there you go, got a kill.
Yasuo is now in behind. He could theoretically land a kill onto Leona, but instead he's going after Lee Sin to try and land a duel. And it looks like that a lot of damage coming out, and he may be able to land it if he gets... Not quite enough. I was going to say, if he lands his Q, he'd be able to get the knock up on his next proc, and then follow through with that to try and land the kill. Looks like Teemo's going to go down here for sure. Caitlyn can just stand there and auto-attack at this point.
I'm wondering if our Teemo was watching the LCS matches last night and decided to, give it a shot himself, because he seems to, he doesn't seem to have the same comfort level with that champion as other people in the workshop do. People often bring their mains in. I'm wondering if our Teemo player here is trying for a flavor of the month.
It definitely looks that way, because this... again, I'm not trying to insult the Teemo player, but that's not how you play Teemo. He seems far too aggressive, and he's not abusing his poison. And that's what you do with Teemo if you want to win. So they're going to give the blue over to Diana here. Good choice, seeing as obviously Yasuo is not a mana user. So I would expect to start to see some scary ganks coming out of Diana now that she is level 6, has blue buff, and their team is up over 1,000 gold already.
Just want to take a moment to discuss the Diana pick. The Diana's player, Canadian Dummy, actually asked earlier in chat, is Diana a good pick? Because I've been playing her in jungle, and I love her. And I think, we kind of like threw the pros and cons back and forth. But really what it comes down to is if you're comfortable and familiar with the champion, you can make anything work. Don't ever behold yourself to the meta. It just isn't always the best thing to do. Sometimes you just fall in love with a champ.
Oh, for sure. I play a lot of really undervalued champions. Like, I kind of main Victor right now. Anyone you encounter will tell you, Victor, oh my god, he's so weak, don't play Victor. Okay, a little bit of a miscommunication there. Lee Sin comes in, and Shen dashes away. I think they could have probably landed that. Maybe not landed a kill, but they would have been able to get a lot of damage onto Shen, if nothing else. Now they're opening up the possibility for Shen to get bullied out because he stayed after Lee Sin and tried to fight without his jungler. I don't know if he thought maybe Lee Sin was on the enemy team or what.
Our Singed has gotten quite a bit better at just getting every tick of poison off. He might have just needed a bit of warm-up time, but he is starting to really turn into a bully now.
For sure. And that's definitely showing through the items as well. Singed looks to be going for the really cheesy, huge AP/mana build. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not as reliable as some of the other builds that you sometimes see Singed players doing. And then we see him countering it on Shen by building a lot of defenses, a lot of magic resist.
Yasuo mid, oh, he got too brave there. He actually got out, he threw the wind wall, he could have gone back to tower, and he thought he could go in after Teemo and paid the price for it.
Yeah, he should have just stayed in tower, auto-attacked once more, Q'd, and he would have got the kill.
Bot lane going in, we have the Leona ult going down, Caitlyn nets out. Thresh is doing a great job here of just always playing properly, disengaging from his carry, puts the lantern down. Caitlyn runs to pick it up, even though she could have just continued to go. You don't always have to pick up the lantern.
No, you do. It's style points. If you don't pick up the lantern every single time it drops, then you will be rated bronze 5.
Singed is diving Shen up top. It looks like he is going to die to the tower, though.
Yeah, that's just some over-aggression from Singed there. You don't need to dive people. You need to bully people. But yes, as we were saying before about undervalued champions, you also have the great power in solo queue. No one knows how to play versus them. So if you want to main, oh, I don't know, Ashe, people aren't used to playing versus Ashe bot lane anymore. Technically, she's considered a weak AD carry. That doesn't mean she's bad. Same thing with like Victor. Every single time I play Victor, people just underestimate him. They don't know how he works. They'll dive you and give you a double kill. It's pretty impressive what you can do just by abusing people's lack of knowledge.
Speaking of Ashe, I'm looking at Blue Team's comp, and what I'm concerned about is they don't have a very strong I'm initiating, go in right now signal. When
Singed.
Ashe drops an ult on a carry, everyone goes in. Singed, yes. I feel like they might be able to just kite him, slow him with the Teemo shrooms, the Leona stun, and the ult.
Great Thresh Hook and Lantern coming out right onto Leona. Leona is a little bit tanky though. Obviously, yeah, you want to kill whoever you catch, but that's pretty difficult. They wasted a lot to try and get that kill. Obviously, it is worth it. They got the kill, but they may have been able to focus Twitch while Leona was CC'd.
Fun fact, Janna's win rate has actually spiked a whole lot since the most recent... Oh, Yasuo goes down to a Lee gank. Good job, Lee. The Janna's win rate has gone through the roof in the most recent patch. And yeah, they did buff her, but it seems to be more that she's such a hard counter to Leona, who's in every game now.
That's why I'm also
Singed
seeing
is,
Lulu make it back into it, because if Leona lands an E, you can polymorph her before she lands the stun.
Right, Thresh, Janna, and Lulu all have tools to just stop Leona in her tracks, so they're all starting to become very top-tier champions in a response to the current Leona dominance of bot lane. Teemo comes top, doesn't get the kill. Diana is coming up. We're going to see if she manages to kill this little Yordle.
Die, Teemo! Die, Oh, she missed.
Oh, misses the... Aw, we're all very sad right now.
Teemo must die. As far as CS advantage goes, Diana has actually pulled ahead by about 10 CS. As far as experience is concerned, she's pretty much even with Lee Sin, but it's a little bit of an advantage. Singed way ahead, over double the CS of Shen, and again, that just boils down to properly bullying, drawing aggro while you're farming. Mid lane, Yasuo's slightly ahead. As far as score is concerned, though, they are pretty even. Both have 2 kills, both have 2 deaths. And bot lane, slight advantage to Caitlyn, but generally Caitlyn does win in farm because she is so safe and easy to land stuff with. Yasuo coming in behind. Bot lane dies before he can get there, though. That's just a little bit too aggressive from Thresh. You need to wait until the gank is actually in progress and catch them before they can retreat.
A quick note about team compositions is Blue Team has a lot of killing potential game. They have Diana in the jungle, who's only going to get stronger. They have Yasuo, they have Singed, Kate, you know, all just champions that keep murdering all game long. Purple Team has chosen champions who have to sag into different roles in the late game. You have you know, Lee Sin, whose damage falls off and has to start disrupting and tanking instead. You have Teemo, who has to worry about map control, and so on.
They're falling in onto the
about
Lee Sin. It's going to be a very quick kill. I do have another complaint for Teemo. He dropped a shroom, Yasuo ran at him, the shroom hit, and Teemo kept running away rather than returning damage. When your shroom lands as a Teemo, that's your signal to engage. That's your CC. And if they run into it and are then retreating, you need to chase them, land your 3 auto attacks in a Q, 2 auto attacks, however much it is. That will double or even triple the damage the shroom would have done at very little risk to you because they are still slowed, and it's a pretty crippling slow.
Leona is doing work on bottom lane. Every time she gets Caitlyn, it's just pretty much a free kill for Twitch, so good job to Leona.
Good use of the trinket on Diana. Lantern gank coming in onto Twitch. They land the hook onto an invisible target. Diana is able to get in there, but they are unfortunately a little bit caught out. Yasuo coming in, Shen alting bot. Lee Sin also coming down here. This is really going to turn against Blue Team if they don't get out.
Yasuo is just going balls to the wall non-stop. And, you know, that's great. Yasuo is a champion that demands aggression, but he's also getting punished for it as well. He is ahead a little bit, but...
That was an absolutely fantastic response bot lane by Purple Team. Lee Sin started wandering down there immediately. Oh, Lee Sin unfortunately failed his ward jump. But the Shen ult, the Lee Sin just counteracting it, just using their map pressure to land onto it. Twitch is a little bit too far out to land
on
here.
the Kate. Ignite gets Shen from on Caitlyn. Again, Caitlyn is just so safe. She can stay in range. You have Leona, you have Twitch, you have these really murdering champions, and as long as she doesn't get caught with the E and the Q and the ult, she can usually escape.
Yes. Now, I want to point out that when they did the re-engage there from Leona and from Shen, Twitch was too far out to actually auto-attack, so the CC was all worn off by the time he was in range. They did manage to get a kill out of it. Or I believe they did. I could be wrong on that. Regardless, he could have got a lot more damage in there while it was safe to do so.
I'm going to make a criticism on the Teemo play just now. He drops 2 shrooms right next to each other at Dragon. And, you know, that's a really tempting thing to do when you're Teemo because, yeah, you'll blow people up even more. But really, shrooms aren't about murder. They're about the map control.
Completely agree. You need them in places where people are going to use to run away. So you put them in bushes and retreat paths. You put them on objectives. You put them on turrets so that if they dive, they get slowed and take a lot of damage. But placing them right next to each other like that, yes, you have an increased chance of one of them hitting, but you're also wasting that cooldown.
Singed is just turning into a brick wall on top lane. You know, Shen taunts him and Singed throws him and laughs. So late game, that's going to be very interesting to see how Singed affects things.
Teemo has opted to go for Morellonomicon. I really, really like that item on him because it is so gold efficient. It reduces healing, which is a huge thing for the big tanks and like Flavor of the Month champions right now. And it also gives you the CDR you need to really create that shroom farm and start snowballing. Teemo roaming top again.
If you look at Caitlyn's summer spells, you'll see she picked Ignite. And when you have 4 bot right now, they're pushing. Purple is moving top. Looks like blue team is moving to take Dragon. Caitlyn's Ignite is a kind of daring choice when there's a Leona. She can't barrier, which means she kind of has to rely on careful use of her net and careful positioning.
Okay, also worth pointing out that they showed multiple purple team top lane, and blue team immediately responded by saying, okay, you're going to try and gank us top, we're going to take Dragon. And so, free objective for them. They didn't actually lose anything top. They didn't take a tower. They didn't take any kills. So, totally worth it on their part. See, that's what you do as Teemo. When the shroom lands, you attack them. He could play that a little bit better by using the auto-attack Q auto-attack combo rather than, I believe, just a Q. But either way, that's exactly how you play it. So, good job on him for sort of working towards improvement on that front. Lee Sin landing a gank in bot lane. We'll see how well this goes. Twitch going invisible, so I'm assuming that Leona's going to try and lead in. But nothing's really going to come of it, because they're just too far out.
We have Lee Sin lurking in the bushes, waiting for a dive. This is a pretty safe strategy for him. He's been doing it every time blue team shows aggression, and it usually pays off, so let's see if it does this time.
This poor Shen. Shen is such a weak laner right now that I really do feel bad for him, because he is up against a lane bully, in this case Singed.
Twitch is in a bad position right now. If he gets hooked... Oh, it looks like instead he's going to pop his ult. Leona drops an ult as well, misses. Caitlyn's dropping auto attack damage onto Leona, trying to get the kill.
Good damage, though, coming out from them.
As
much as that may have been misplayed, they did land some good damage, and they're going to be able to use that to zone Caitlyn now.
Blue team can probably stay. Blue team will probably have to send Caitlyn back at this rate, while Twitch can continue to farm and push.
Yasuo just constantly landing kills onto Teemo, so good job on his part. Again, I think Teemo's just playing a little too aggressively. Every time I look at him, he seems to just stay in sort of a dangerous position versus Yasuo, and then eventually he gets caught out and dies.
Yasuo shows a little bit hubris there by recalling right in the middle of the lane. Lee Sin comes in, doesn't get the kill, but it's a nice little reminder to go to your tower, or go to a bush when you recall.
Twitch has already finished Infinity Edge. That's a huge purchase for him because his auto attacks with his ult are AoE.
Top lane is staying. Singed and Shen are both warding heavily. There's been a few ganks, but you're not seeing a lot of kills. Singed is just pushing down the tower, letting Shen wail on him. Singe did take a little bit to warm up, but now he is just playing really well. He's just shoving Shen around top lane. If Shen teleports, Singe responds with, okay, I'm just going to be singed up here.
So Teemo has finished his Haunting Guise and his Source Boots. That's going to give him a lot of Magic Pen to counter any Magic Resist that starts to be built against him. He is, though, placing a lot of shrooms in lane. If I were him, I would be spamming them in advance and retreat position so that you can use it for map pressure. Instead, he's just using it to say, okay, when CS comes, it'll kill the CS. That's not really a good thing to do, as far as I'm concerned. He also walks right up to Yasuo. It looks like he is using it to try and land a kill, or a gank in this case. They are going to get the kill, it looks like, but that was just a little bit over-aggressive from him. If Yasuo landed his combo just a little bit quicker, I think... Sorry, the Diana Q just hugging Teemo. Shen ult coming down.
Shen is teleported in. Diana flashes out, Lee jumps to her. Teemo is sticking around. He's continuing to push with his team. Being a little too brave. He may want to go back with that low health, but instead he's going to push down tower with Lee Sin and get that gold for his team.
If I were Teemo, I can't see how many shrooms he's holding at the moment, I don't think. You always want to have one charge on you, just in case that you like run into a wild roaming jungler or something like that. But you really do need to place them so that you're always recharging the cooldown.
We have some perfect shit singed play here. He's just shoving top. They come up to gank him. He gets a kill and just runs away laughing.
That being said, though, Teemo just stood still and auto-attacked him. If he was kiting properly, I don't think Sinch would have been able to get to him, and he at least wouldn't have taken as much damage. Yasuo coming up might catch Lee Sin out in the jungle, although I think they're just going to go their separate ways. Yasuo definitely does want this red buff.
Yasuo is just playing balls to the wall this entire game. Little regard for safety, just getting kills at all costs.
Red buff goes over to Lee Sin. Unfortunately, Shen not able to get the taunt onto him because that would have been a proper kill. Twitch going down to Caitlyn bot lane. As we've seen every time we look at that lane, every time Thresh lands a hook, Caitlyn is following up with really good, solid damage. So, good job on their part. Unfortunately, we're not able to pay attention to every lane at the same time. Looks like they're going to go in and try and take this bot turret. Leona is the only one protecting it at the moment. I would expect they would have enough DPS to take this down quite quickly, possibly before anyone's able to respond.
Something that's a little funny is blue team clearly chose their champions for knockups. You have Diana's E, you have Thresh's Flay, you have, Singe's throw, but Yasuo isn't really sticking with the team. He's instead roaming, he's picking up kills, he's counter jungling.
No, but it will make a significant difference come late game. They are able to get onto the Teemo, get a kill off on him. It looks like they're going to get Diana as well, so great job there. And he's going to walk away. Caitlyn's not able to get in and do anything. So that ended up going 2 for 1. Teemo died, but they took Diana and Thresh with him, so that's totally, totally worth it. Teemo dying is always worth it.
Right now, Twitch just has windows of huge unstoppable damage, while Caitlyn's more moderate, but she has a steady window of DPS all game. The thing is, right now, those huge plays that Twitch is making, they're really starting to add up over time. He's 6-1-1, and with a Leona, a Shen, a Lee Sin, he's really going to mop up in team fights.
Agreed. It is entertaining to me, though, that both AD carries are both fed and have not really died much. Caitlyn is 5-1-2, and Twitch is 6-1-1. So they have the same number of kills that they've been involved in. Obviously, Caitlyn has a slight CS advantage. That you do expect that when you're as a Twitch. You kind of expect to be down a few CS. It's a similar idea to playing a Kog'Maw. Dragon being taken over by purple team here. As Teemo, I'll be placing some shrooms in approach locations, such as these bushes that I'm about to ping. um, those bushes there. That would give some protection if they did try and stop them. Obviously, in this point, they have not, but you do need to start getting those globals. Trying to escape, not able to do so. This then
Singed
leaves
still top,
3v1
still
top
being
lane.
singed.
Yasuo going in with the knock-up ult right onto Lee Sin. Free kill over to him. Good job. And that's going to be another turret for
Yasuo
them.
is, I mean, they did increase the, smoothness of Yasuo Q, but he's still really landing these whirlwinds at the right moment and really getting good ult potential out of them.
It's interesting to me. It looks like he is going for right into Static Shiv Infinity Edge rather than getting any sort of lifesteal. That's a very aggressive build, but it is going to provide some incredible burst.
The box goes down on Thresh. Leona breaks one wall on it. Thresh is following her under the tower. So it looks like Caitlyn will get that kill and possibly the tower as well. But then you have not only is Caitlyn shoving bot lane, but they took an inhib up on top. So blue team is really just making the most out of every advantage here.
Yeah, this is essentially the end of the game at this point. Teemo is able to land a kill, but is going to die for it right after. I would expect them to take one, if not both, of these base turrets. In the meantime, Caitlyn can get the inhibitor, and it's going to be absolutely incredible amount of advantage for them. Twitch coming in with his invisibility, but he's just way too close. Way, way, way too close to that much aggression that they can pump out from the Diana and the Yasuo. I believe this is actually going to be game because their AD carry is dead. Teemo is still about 15 seconds. All they really have left is their tanks.
Thresh is just really good at disrupting at the right times. He knows when to hook. He knows when to flay. He's willing to die for his carry. Thresh is just pulling off some really good mechanics here.
If I were Caitlyn, I would be hitting the turret rather, not the turret, the inhib rather than the enemy opponents, because right now you can end the game right this second.
Yeah, they're just kind of dancing around. I mean, killing Teemo is awesome, but you should win the game instead.
Yeah, Satan will still be there later.
So that was a fairly short game for our workshops, but we saw some really good play on both teams. Singed probably emerged as the MVP there. He kept top lane constantly pushed, always had pressure on it. He had a little bit of a rough start. He warmed up and he really took some weight off his team's shoulder there.
So Yasuo has actually done the most damage to
Meanwhile, on bot lane
champions.
we had Twitch as probably the MVP. Oh, sorry, just got a ban on bot. 1 sec.
Okay, while you're banning that, I will go over the item builds here, as well as some basic comments on play that we might not have got to throughout the game. So we have Caitlyn, as we mentioned, did absolutely fantastic with her positioning, just orb walking, making some really good plays there. A lot of that was set up by Thresh. Thresh played absolutely fantastic with just how well he was disengaging, how well he was engaging. So really good job there. As far as her item build is concerned, I'm
Caitlyn
concerned
got
that
a
she did
D-Blade.
not
She got
go for
an
lifesteal.
Infinity Edge, which is interesting to me.
I'm actually going over
Because
item builds right now.
of Bloodthirster. Were you pressing push to talk?
No, because I'm talking to the stream.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Anyways, I was a little bit concerned that Caitlyn did not go lifesteal. She didn't end up needing it because she was positioning very, very well, but it could still come back to bite her. I would suggest, even if it's just a Vamp Scepter, get a little bit of lifesteal early, and that will serve you quite well. It looks like she was actually going to build a Last Whisper before she ever built lifesteal. It's fine, but I would have liked to see it come out earlier. Singe going for a very aggressive spell vamp build. I've seen a little bit of that on some high elo streams just for fun. It's an interesting build. He was able to really bully them around the lane and get absolutely incredible CS advantage. So, good job there. Yasuo, good aggression. Again, no lifesteal, but he was just going balls to the wall, so it didn't end up mattering for him. Diana having gone for a Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, Abyssal Scepter, and looks to have been building into a Nashor's Tooth. I really like that setup, keeping in mind, though, that that's going to leave you very, very vulnerable, and you're then reliant on Singed and Thresh to be the main tanks for the team. Thresh, really great plays. Everything I saw there, really good disengage, engages, and everything. Leona, little. I don't actually know what to say to this build. I'm a little bit concerned that she went for Merc Treads. I don't know why she felt she needed that. Obviously, there is enough CC coming out from their team, but I might have suggested Boots 5 to make plays around the map, or a Ninja Tabby to avoid the auto attack damage coming out from Yasuo and Caitlyn, because you are getting poked down very heavily. Merc Treads, it's not a bad buy, but you do need some mobility. I also don't like Tarragons on Leona. I would strongly, strongly recommend that you go for the what is it? Talisman of Ascension, I believe it is. Shen, pretty standard build. Unfortunately, he fell way behind in CS. I would have focused more on CSing and less on harassment, because if you fall behind in CS this much, you're not going to be able to really duel anyone. Timo, we had some concerns with how he was playing. Just he was a little bit too close. He wasn't disengaging well. He wasn't chasing that well. His build, though, was perfectly fine. No real complaints with his build. I just think that he needs to practice Timo a little bit more. Twitch, really good plays as far as realizing the damage output that you have from your Infinity Edge and your ult and lining it up nicely. There was a couple misplays where it's just like you shouldn't have got hooked by that, or you should notice the gank coming. But again, that's just map awareness, and you get that with time. It looks like he was building right into Phantom Dancer. That's perfectly acceptable. He had the little bit of lifesteal there. Depending on... Yeah, there's no real armor stock, so there's no reason for him to rush Last Whisper, so I like that item choice. No real complaints there. Spirit of the Lizard Elder on Lee Sin. I would not have gone that. I would have gone for Ancient Golem on Lee Sin and then Boots 5. So that way you have the mobility and you have the tankiness still. Lizard Elder, the damage on it isn't anything that great. I would have probably gone for Ancient Golem, Boots 5, Sight Stone, and a Hydra. That way you still have some damage and you have some extra tankiness